Welcome back, Master Builders and Legends fans. It's time to give Red Hulk some backup, as if he needs it. So let's bring out one of Spider-Man's oldest allies, Daredevil, DD Matt Murdock himself, in his Shadowland attire. Why am I going for the alternate costume? Is it because we've got a red and black theme running here and I'm really clever? Nah, it's just the only one that I have. Obviously, I would love to have him in his classic red costume, but unfortunately, as I've said before, I got on the collecting bandwagon a little bit late, and that one is quite hard to come by now. I think he only came out as part of a box set, I might be wrong, but either way, he's going to fetch you a few shekels. So instead, I'm sticking with the black costume, mainly because he came with the SPDR wave as well, so I was going to buy them all regardless. There is a nice red and yellow one too, but I'm gonna hold out on replacing him at the moment because I am waiting. I've heard the rumors that we're gonna get the armored Daredevil from the early 90s when everyone was brooding and grim and gritty. I'd love to get that costume. Again, that was the first Daredevil that I was really familiar with. I started reading at that time when Spider-Man had just been pushed over the edge through everything that had been shoveled on top of him. And he was like, right, I've had it! That's enough! I'm not going to be friendly anymore. And then we got guys like Daredevil trying to either A, teach him how to be grim and gritty, this was the 90s, or try and pull him back from the edge. It was a story that like many people didn't like, but again, I didn't have anything to compare it to, so I was like, yay, this is great. So Daredevil can go there with his two billy clubs, which are a nice accessory to have. They have a little string that you can attach them with as well, but that takes up a lot of space. So instead I go for these classic one in each hand, fighting style. Now I really should have run with that red and black theme because I've got another character who rocks the red and the black. It is Night Thrasher. You can tell what decade I started reading comics in because there is so much 90s nostalgia in all of my collecting. And Night Thrasher, let's face it, he's a kid from the streets who rides a skateboard and fights crime. That's about as rockin' as a 90s character can get. But he's a fun one. I love the design of the mask. The sculptors really just lifted him perfectly from the comics, which does mean that there's not a huge amount going on with the costume. It's not that exciting, but it is a perfect recreation. He's got the thicker armor and the pads for the skateboarding, and the skateboard itself is a nice accessory. It's got the scratches and scuff marks on there, which is a little bit of extra attention to detail that they didn't have to do. So I'm going to position Night Thrasher up at the back here on the pedestal, so he's next to Daredevil, and we'll have our two billy club wielders. Now, I don't know if I have any Wolfpack fans watching this, little 90s style NWO, because we're sticking with the red and black. I'm going to bring in another red and black character. It is the living vampire Morbius. Yes, someone who I first saw in the Amazing Spider-Man animated show from 1994, I think. Again, that was like one of the first things that got me into collecting Spider-Man. And I got a back issue, which was when Spidey grew the 6 arms. It was just a reprint. It wasn't an expensive one, but of course Morbius appears in that. So I was very familiar with that character right away. And this is a perfect recreation of that classic old school Morbius. I get the feeling this character is probably going to go up in value a little bit because we've got the movie coming out pretty soon with Jared Leto looking all beautiful and Christ-like as Michael Morbius, and there's a lot of scuttlebutt and hubbub about the trailer that came out with Spider-Man in it, or at least references to, and then you got Michael Keaton as the Vulture, and it's like, oh, are the Sony movies crossing over with the MCU? Maybe. Either way, we're probably going to get a movie Morbius coming out at some point, but we've got the classic comic book one here, and he's a fun little figure. Not much in the way of accessories, just a slightly different cape, which is very much a sort of a Vlad Transylvania type bleh kind of cape, which I don't really like that. But this one here, he looks good. He's got a great sculpt in the face, and he doesn't have weird sucky things on his palms like in the cartoon, which they said he can't say blood. He can't say he drinks blood because it's a kid's cartoon. I buy that. But then like sucking plasma was just such a bizarre sounding choice. It's actually creepier in a sort of a Cronenberg body horror kind of way with these little sucky things on his hands. As a kid I would have been much happier if he just bit someone's neck and had at it, but there you go. Also, another little extra project I'm working on is trying to build Maximum Carnage, build each team, Carnage's team and Spider-Man's team, and of course Morbius was a founding member of Team Spidey in Maximum Carnage, so he's going to pair up nicely with some other figures that I'm also going to add to this shelf. In the meantime though, I'm going to pop him right back here to add some European flair to the back shelf. And there we go. Okay, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 male characters here now. So let's mix things up with Silver Sable. We're actually bringing some women into this now. Because it is very, very male heavy, as comic books generally tend to be, and there's nothing wrong with that. But it is fun to balance things out a little bit. A problem I always have with the female figures is that by their very nature, they are a little bit flimsy, I suppose. It's not a knock on the quality, but they're going to have thinner limbs and they don't feel as, hardy as the male characters do. So you have to be a bit more careful when positioning them, otherwise you're going to end up with gummy joints and that'll just drive you crazy. The Silver Sable figure has actually been quite a popular one with people who have been reviewing it, and I can see why. They managed to recreate a female face that doesn't look like a mannequin, which is not always easy to do. Sometimes you get this weird sort of plastic Barbie doll kind of look, which just seems bizarre, but with the Silver Sable one, I think they actually managed to get kind of a focused, intense sort of look. She looks like that kind of professional assassin type person without looking like she's just a vacant, dead-eyed zombie kind of character, which can be the case with some other figures, which I'll probably be complaining about later. But yeah, she comes with 2 guns, which are, nice pair of accessories, nothing else, which is a shame, but there's only so much you can package in with her, so I'll allow it. As for Silver Sable's recent history in the comics, you're going to have to bear with me on this because we're going to go for a walk. Because she died recently in the Ends of the Earth storyline, which was really pretty intense. She was drowned by the Rhino. He just held her underwater out of spite, which was quite an intense thing. She was dead for a while, and then I think she came back in the Clone Conspiracy, which is a garbage storyline that we never ever have to mention again because it was awful. And then they reintroduced her again, saying that she didn't die at the hands of the Rhino because she turned herself invisible and was somehow able to sneak away. Intangible, maybe. Kitty Pryde would have been alright. But I digress. Either way, we're going to take her and put her in the back row here to mix things up a bit and make this display a little bit more representative.
Alright guys, that's going to do it for this video. As you can imagine, this is going to be a long process because I've got a lot more figures to add and I'm putting in a lot of effort into the editing and the pictures and the GIFs and the cutaways and all that kind of thing, which is actually a lot of fun. Yeah, I didn't realize I was going to enjoy the process of this as much as I am. So if you guys are enjoying the videos, then let me know, because I will probably keep on making them. Hey, look, if I get like about 100,000 subscribers, I'm pretty sure Hasbro will start just giving me free stuff. So I think I'm up to about 6. So we've got a long road ahead of us, but like, share and subscribe, and eventually I'm pretty sure I'll just get all my legends sent to me, which really is what we all want, isn't it?